The Jandarma, a wing of the Turkish armed forces, roll out from a base in Diyarbakir in southeastern Turkey. Helicopters transport the troops, and sniffer dogs help root out drugs and smugglers on the ground. This region has been a stronghold for the PKK militant group and its narcoterrorism operation for decades. Turkish security forces say the PKK pulls in hundreds of millions of dollars annually from illegally cultivating cannabis and smuggling here. The PKK has fought the Turkish government with similar tenets of Marxist ideology that the FARC fought for in Colombia, but mixed it with its own Kurdish separatist nationalism. They have killed thousands of Turkish civilians and have members and affiliates in Iran, Syria, and Iraq. Its top leadership has been listed on the U.S. drug kingpin list for nearly a decade.
And we know that not a bird can fly around here without PKK knowing it. So even if only one shoot of cannabis is planted here, PKK definitely knows about this.
Yahya Ower says Turkish authorities seized 85,000 tons of drugs last year, which equals the total amount seized in the previous 15 years.
But here the biggest factor that affects their success is the need for international intervention on the routes terror organizations use to move drugs. Illegal terrorist organizations need to be removed.
But he says it's drug trafficking by other terrorist organizations, as well as the PKK, that will require a multi-pronged international approach.
We can clearly see that in the Middle East, especially in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and Syria, the drug trade has been the main source of income.
With its ancient land and sea trade routes, Turkey remains a key transit country to move drugs to and from Europe. Heroin is also moved from Iran and the Strait of Hormuz to the UAE, where it's shipped through the Red Sea into the Mediterranean to dock in Turkish ports in or near Hatay. Meanwhile, synthetic drugs like methamphetamines are routed into Turkey from Europe, bound for the Middle East and Gulf Arab countries. Turkish media often reports news of drug busts. This report from last June says Turkish authorities confiscated more than 1,000 kilograms of heroin with an approximate market value of $50 million. A report from October says Turkish anti-narcotics police seized more than 2.5 million ecstasy pills, more than 55 kilograms of heroin, and 600 kilograms of cocaine, as well as opium, cannabis, and lab chemicals in simultaneous operations across the country. Basic training for anti-drug operations starts here at police headquarters in Ankara. This is where all the national police train before they're deployed across the country for their narco-terrorism operations. Ahmet Murat Yilmaz, who has built his reputation policing organized crime and drug smuggling rings in Turkey over the last several decades, says Turkey is currently working with the UN and European countries. So how do you deal with the combination of terrorists like Daesh and the PKK, and then organized crime like the mob guys,
Yes.
the people that are moving it through villages,
Yes.
that might not be associated with the terrorists, but they also depend on organized crime, don't they?
Yes, yes. That's they are doing the same. They are using all the same ways to smuggle the drug into the country. We are also doing the same with them. We are doing the same procedure with them also, because if we start to investigate a case, we don't know if it's a normal organized crime group or is it a terrorist group.
Turkish special forces and attack dogs train for maximum effect in disarming and clearing operations. What's the toughest borders that you have to control the most, or are you on every border now?
We are on every border. There's nothing to say this is more. We are weak there. We are always everywhere.
Operations continue throughout Turkey on an almost daily basis, but its central location in the web of transnational drug routes presents a Herculean task. Courtney Kealy, Strait Talk.